Assalamu alaikum, my students. I hope you people are doing well. Well, I am Ramsha Farooq, your English teacher. Now, today, as you can see in front of you, we are doing the lessons and a topic from the book Oxford Progressive English Book 7 by Rachel Redford, unit number 6. And unit number 6 is all about lessons from the folktales. Before starting our lesson, first check it out what actually folktales are. Folktales are the stories originating in popular cultures, typically passed on by word of mouth, legends, or myths shared among people of culture. Now, folktales are the stories basically spread through word of mouth, right? You have heard the stories, some of the stories you have heard from your parents. Have you ever imagined that who told them? Their parents, right? And who told them? Their grandparents. Now these type of stories are basically evolved, or they are basically transferred generation to generation. In a similar way, the nation evolves, our folk tales also evolve. Like, you will never find a folk tale written in their original form. They are always retold by someone, and then afterwards they have been transcribed or written in a written in a way, or you will find it in a written form. But firstly, you have been heard from someone, or the folk tales have been retold by someone, right? So we are having some of the examples of folk tales here. Like, you have heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears from your parents, right? You have heard these type of stories. So these are the stories which your parents have heard from their grandparents or their parents, right? And you will be having different version of the stories, right? If you ask your grandparents, they will tell you some sort of a improvised version, and your grandparents will be telling you a different version, right? Now we are having some of the English example here, which are Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now, after this English version, we have some Pakistani folktale versions as well. We have some examples of Pakistani folktales as well, which are Sasi Punnu by Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai. It is basically retold by him, and another one is Soni Mahiwal. So these are some examples of the folk tales. Now, today we are going to study a Russian folk tale. Russian folk tale about how much land does the man need. Now, this is a Russian folk tale. This folk tale, How Much Land Does the Man Need, is retold by a great Russian writer, Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy was a Russian famous writer, and his famous work include War and Peace, which is published in 1865, and Anna Karenina, which is published in 1875. If you want to get the information about these two, you can get it from YouTube and Google. Okay, I want you to do the research as well with our lessons. All right, so you can get the information from there. In the last class, I have assigned you the task to read the chapter How Much Land Does the Man Need, page number 140 to 143 of your Oxford Progressive English Book 7. But if you haven't done the task, don't worry, just pause the video and read the chapter and then get back to me. We will be discussing the vocabulary related to our lesson. Alright? Now, before moving towards our vocabulary of our lesson, first get to know about the characters of our story. Now, what is the name of our story? How much land does the man need? And how many characters are there in our story? We are having 1, 2, 3, which are 3 characters. Okay, 3 characters means the first character is Paham. Paham is a main character of our story, right? He was a hard-working farmer, plus he was a greedy person as well. Alright, now the second character name was Chief. Alright, he was a chief. He was a head of Bashkir tribes and the owner of the land which Paham wants to purchase. Alright, and the another character is, which is the last character of our story, is servant. He was basically a personal servant and a sidekick of Paham. Clear? Alright, these are the main 3 characters of our story. Clear? Okay. Now let's move towards the vocabulary of our lesson. There are some difficult words and some new words from the lesson. Our first word from our vocabulary list is Bashkir. Bashkir is basically a Turk ethnic group. Basically, it is a name of a tribe from Turkey. Clear? Okay. Another word is ruble. Ruble is basically the name of Russian currency. Clear? Okay. Another word is hillock. Hillock means a small hill. Distinctly means recognizable or different. Different thing which is easily recognizable. Clear? Okay. Now another word is damp hollow. Damp hollow means slightly wet hole in a ground. It is like slightly moist hole in a ground. Okay. Now flung means hurl or throw. Like have you read in our story, like it is like Mr. Poham basically hurled his coat on his shoulder, which means like he was basically throwing it on his shoulder or he is hurling it on a shoulder. Okay, now the another word is pity. It is not that much difficult word or a new word. It means feeling of sorrow. Like Chief was feeling pity for Mr. Poham, like he was feeling sorry for him. Okay, now another word is scarcely. Scarcely means limited or almost not. Clear? Okay. Another word is glistening. Like it is mentioned in our book, glistening sun, which means a shining or shimmering sun. A sun which is giving a scorching heat with shiny or shimmering light. Okay. Now, another word is heaped. Heap means to stack up or to pile up. Like in the story, it is like Mr. Poham was stacking up or he was piling up the turf. Now, as turf, another word is turf. Turf means grass. Okay. Now, another word is we are having is bitterly, which means angry or hurtful way, which means that someone is talking in a way of hurting to another person. Okay. Now, we are having a word spade here, which is shovel. It is basically a tool with sharp edge used for digging earth, sand, or turf or something else, which is used to dig the ground. As in Urdu, we call it belcha, right? Now, another word is quivering. Quivering means shivering or shaking in a slight mode, like someone is shivering with either with cold or with if he is scared of something, right? Now, another word which we are having is hazy. Hazy means unclear or foggy. Like we are having some of the environment outside, it is sort of a foggy environment. So, hazy means foggy. Now, we are having a different word here which means blacksmith bellows. It is a double acting piston used to increase the airflow going in in a forge. So, first of all, let's check it out what piston is. Piston is a sort of a pump or a blower which is used to increase the airflow in the forge. Now, what forge is? Forge is a sort of a brick oven used by a blacksmith to heat the metal in the fire to make or to shape the metal so that they are basically used to heat the metal in a forge. This is what a forge is. And piston is used to increase the airflow in the forge. Okay. Now we are having another word which is bruised. Bruised is an injury appearing as an area of discolored skin on the body caused by a blow. Like in our story, it is like that Mr. Moham's leg is bruised. Legs are bruised, which means his legs were swollen, clear or get discolored due to running or walking in a for a very long time. Now we are having another word which is parched. Parched means to feel extremely thirsty as Mr. Poham was walking from the morning and it is about to. Now we are having another word which is bruised. It is an injury appearing as an area of discolored skin on the body caused by a blow. In our story, it is mentioned like his home, Mr. Poham's legs were bruised. Why his legs were bruised? Because he was walking since morning till evening, so for such a long time, which means his legs were swollen. Okay. Now another word is parched. Parched means extremely thirsty. Why Mr. Poham was extremely thirsty? Because he was walking and running since the long time. Now another word we are having is territory. Territory is an area of land. Basically, it is a marked area of land. Like in our story, Mr. Poham was marking the area which he wanted to purchase. So he was marking his territory. Now, rim. Rim is basically the outer edge of the sphere. Like he was basically marking it in a sphere. So the outer edge of the sphere is known as rim. Okay, now another word is grasp. Grasp means to hold or seize in something in a grip manner, in a manner of grip, in a tight grip, which means to grasp. Now, another, the second last word which we are having is outstretch. Outstretch means extended or beyond limits. Like he was basically outstretching the territory. He was being greedy, so he was whom Mr. Poham was basically outstretching his territory. He was marking his territory beyond his limits. Okay. Now the last word which we are having is cloaked. Cloaked means to hid in a cap. Okay. We are. Have you seen Harry Potter or Dracula? He was hiding himself in a cloak, which means he was hiding himself in a cape. So this is what we are having the vocabulary of our lesson here. Here I am having some pictures of the tools which I am talking about, the blacksmith bellow and spade. This is how these tools look like. Now as we have discussed the vocabulary of our chapter in detail, I hope you understood the meaning of difficult words and new words which we have found in our chapter. Let's move towards exercises. Exercise which is given on page number 143 of your book, Oxford Progressive English, book 7. Now, exercise is reading for understanding and interpretation. Now, what do you understand by interpretation? Interpretation means to explain something in detail after analysis. First, you have to analyze and then you have to explain the question in detail. Right? This is what we call an interpretation. Now, let's read our first question, which is Paham is confident and strong when he set off. Explain how his feeling changed and as the day progressed. Now you have to tell that as when Mr. Poham left, he was feeling very confident. Like Mr. Poham was very confident when he left. As as he was, we have to tell that how his feeling changes. Now, first, his feeling changes when he was feeling thirsty, and after that, he was tired, and then terrified, and then he felt breathless, and after that, he was afraid of death, and then he died in the end. Now, in the question, you have to tell why he was feeling thirsty, why he was tired, why he was feeling terrible, why he was terrified, why uh, he was afraid of death, and how he died. You need to explain all these feelings in detail in 5 to 6 sentences. All right. Now, our second question is what were Bashkir terms for selling the land? Now you need to tell here what were the condition Bashkir put in front of Paham that he will sell the land in a cheap price. Like the cheap price was 1,000 rubles. 1,000 rubles he was selling the land which Paham want 10 times more, right? He was selling 10 times more land which Paham wanted, right? In 1,000 rubles only, right? So what were his term? His term was he have to complete the round. He has to complete he the from the starting point he have to complete all the round on his foot till the land he wanted. The more land he occupies, the more he can purchase in that. But if the condition was he have to cover the land in time of sunrise to sunset, and if he didn't cover that land and didn't reach the exact spot in time, no purchases will be made. He will sell no land to him and a cheap price. All right. Now, now another question which we are having here is, why do you think they were offering land for sale so cheaply? Now, in this question, you have to tell, why do you think that chief was offering the land for sale so cheaply? Right now, in this question, like chief knows, the chief of Bashkir knows that Mr. Poham will not be able to reach the destination point in such a short period of time, which is sunset to sunrise to sunset. Sunrise to sunset, he will not able to reach the point. This is why he agreed to sell 10 times more land Mr. Poham wanted in cheap price, as he knew that he will not able to do such thing in such a short time. So no purchase, no sell agreement should be made, and agreement will be automatically dissolved if Mr. Poham doesn't reach the land in time. So the chief was very clever person, so he did very everything in a clever manner, right? Now another question is, in which direction did Paham intend to walk when marking out the land? Now here it is, you have to tell in which direction he was walking. Now he was walking in the direction of the sun, or you can also say that he was walking in a direction of a fox fur hat, which was kept there as a starting point and the finishing line as well for Mr. Poham. He was walking in the direction of sun or the fox fur hat. All right. Now, why did he keep changing his intent route? He was, as you have to tell that why Mr. Paham was kept changing his intent route while when he was marking out the land. Now the answer of this question could be like this. Mr. Poham was changing his route to make his territory as long as he can. Why? Because he was a greedy person. He came in a greed, like he thought that he can mark and occupy the maximum land in the part of area in a cheap amount, in a cheap price, right? So this is why he was changing his route constantly to mark his territory in a longer manner. Okay. Now another question is, to which two different ways and Mr. Poham uses his spade. Now, the first use was like he was using the spade for marking the territory of the land, and the other use was he himself didn't use that. In the second way, his servant used to dig the grave of Mr. Poham. Right? So these is what are the two different uses of the spade. Another question which we are having here is, why was the chief laughing as he watched Mr. Poham? The chief was laughing because he was feeling pity. He was feeling sorry for Mr. Poham, that he was a greedy person and he was marking out his land, and in the end he will not get anything other than a 6 feet land after he died. Right? Now, the other question is, the story is called How Much Does the Man Need? How much land does the man need? Now another question is, how much did Poham think he needed? Mr. Poham thought he needed more and more land, but what happened in the end? He died. He left everything in this world and then went to the next world. Now what happened is, what land does he required? What land does he occupied? Just a 6 feet grave in which he can lie after he died, in his when everyone kept his body in that specific grave of 6 feet. So the land which Mr. Poham need was only 6 feet grave, which he was basically wanted. He wanted much more, but he left this in this world and then went in another world, right? After he died. Now, another question, which is the last question, what answer to the questions, how much does the man need, is given in the end of the story. The answer is very simple here. A man need only 6 feet of the land which is required for his grave, and after that, because in the world everything you leave and then you have to move towards the next world, and every materialistic things, everything you will be leaving in this world, so there is no use of being greedy and being materialistic. This is what this the answer of this story has given to us, right? Now let's check it out what message we have learned from the story. The message which we have learned from the story is excessive desire can make a person lose all they have. Like we no need to be materialistic, as if you become greedy you will leave everything, you will lose everything. Like, as another message is the need of a human being to achieve more and more, it leads to death itself. True, it is true that one should be ambitious but not greedy. Like, if you're being greedy, you will lose everything, and there is no point of being greedy in this world, as this is all an illusion world, right? It is an illusion, everything is an illusion, and you have to die in the end and leave everything in this world and then move towards the next world. Like, so there is no point of being greedy, and if you be greedy, if you become a greedy person, you will lose all you have. You cannot find anything here, you cannot get anything what you wanted, but you will lose everything what you have already. Clear? Now the chapter is completed here, and I hope you can do the question answer and exercises by yourself after this explanation. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon on my channel.